Hello, I am Wes Dawson, and welcome to another life-altering episode of Gabagool and 8. No, I don't think those bath salts have kicked in. You got another 10 to 12 minutes, meaning there's just enough time for this episode. And of course, we are diving deep. We are getting serious, as this is the definitive American political podcast by a Canadian born and raised in rural Quebec. What the hell? Why is this thing so goddamn long? Doesn't matter. I don't care. You're gonna listen and you're gonna enjoy it, okay? Now make no bones about it. As much as I believe in the idea of unity, sometimes we need to put our cards on the table and just really pick sides and make that difficult decision. Now, if you're a staunch Republican, a staunch Democrat, don't worry. Sometimes things turn out just fine. Much like my parents' decision to try and terminate the pregnancy that would one day give birth to the very being that is Wes Dawson. They tried, it failed, and I'm still here making your lives better. Now, some of you are saying, Wes, yeah, but you're a Canadian. What business do you have sticking your porous nose into American politics? Well, I am a citizen of the world. I am a North American, and honestly, I'm just a big fan of the U.S., okay? Now, like any great nation, they may have a few million skeletons in their closet. Doesn't matter. We're here to focus on the positive, and we're here to break down the political turmoil that's been unfolding recently. Through the course of this episode, I will firmly entrench my heels into one party or the other. Try to imagine an ostrich with its head in the sand, but with a little bit of a blindfold kink going on. I don't care if I'm not listening. I'm enjoying the discussion, okay? Now, regardless of my personal opinions and political beliefs, I'm going to treat both Donald Trump and Joe Biden with the same scrutiny. I'm going to put them under the lens, and we're really going to dive into the topics that matter. Now, a lot of people will say the problem with American politics is this two-party system. Well, guess what? Canada is no better. Instead of Republicans, Democrats, we have conservatives and liberals, and then there's a bunch of other parties. It's basically like having the school administration and then student council. Yeah, they're there, but they don't really do anything. And sprinkle in a little bit of national separatism, and that's basically Canadian politics in a nutshell. So if I were allowed to vote in either Canada or the US, when I look at a candidate I want to vote for, I look at things beyond just their political platform. And I came up with two main issues. Now, for Donald Trump, if I was going to vote for an unapologetic racist, he better be tan as all hell, 6'8", 300 pounds, with 6 world titles under his belt. Okay, brother? And the problem with Joe Biden, now, in many ways, I feel he's like a reverse Freddy Krueger. Where, if you're not familiar with Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger would terrorize children in their dreams. Whereas Sleepy Joe seems to terrorize children while they're awake. The Trump campaign liked to make fun of Biden's senility, but no one seems to want to poke at this. Although I feel we may be pressed for time, I want my political opinions to be fully understood and respected. If 2020 has taught me anything, it's that divisiveness and civil unrest is how to get the most views online, so that's kind of what I'm going for. So another strike on old D. Trump, the living dumpster fire. When Arnold Schwarzenegger took over as the host of The Celebrity Apprentice, when the ratings tanked, you threw the blame at the Oak. Are you shitting me? You don't blame the Oak. And for old JB, Jables, Mr. Biden, the old crypt keeper in a nice suit. Your political advisors thought that being interviewed by Cardi B would be a good idea. No, that was some ludicrous, pandering, and insultingly stupid crap. Grrr! It kind of felt like anybody using the word hip outside of the 1940s. Now, despite my expertise and my experience in political discourse, I want to turn our focus to the two men who are at the center of this discussion. Mr. President Donald Trump and Mr. Vice President or Mr. President-elect Joe Biden. Yikes. Not sure how to treat that one. And right here on Gabagool and 8, we're going to do what the fake news couldn't. Have a respectful and intelligible discussion between these two titans. Yes, hello, gentlemen. I would like to welcome you to Gabagool and 8 and express my gratitude for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here today. Mr. President, we'll begin with you if you have any words about the ongoing recount and issues surrounding the election.
I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
No.
People out there need help.
Who's number one with Hispanics? Trump.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen.
Gentlemen, calm down.
The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie.
What?
Just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million.
Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth. $1.4
What are you
trillion.
even saying?
Billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of
Whoa.
I think it's $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings.
You were a senator.
You're
and
the
There's
worst
no need to
president
speak like
America
that.
has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me
His
this
own
is a left-wing.
FBI director
This
said
is a
the threat
left-wing
on
problem.
white supremacists.
We're going to have to try another way to get down to the bottom of this. I'm not really sure that this can be contained within an 8-minute block. So we're going to move on to good bad. So good. Misinformation in the media and from the government. Well, the good, it provides some hugely comical viral videos and pretty much a never-ending source of material for stand-up comics. And the bad? Well, the erosion of civil discourse and the very fabric of our democracy. A good? Science and proven empirical data. Because, it's helped advance human technology and our understanding of the world. The bad? Well, with that, it makes it kind of hard to spew hatred and lies. So shoot or pistol whip, we're going to keep it concise. We're going to only have one for this week's episode. Now, shoot or pistol whip, here is the scenario. People comparing things they disagree with to the Nazis or Adolf Hitler. Well, easily, this is a shoot. Now allow me to explain, because first off, well, fuck you, okay? Secondly, read a fucking book. And thirdly, comparing anyone or anything to Hitler and the Nazis other than, I don't know, another high-ranking SS member or another atrocity committed on a near global scale is some ignorant and weak shit. One thing I noticed in researching for this episode is that Donald Trump may say some outright lies, but he says it with such conviction and charisma, nobody really seems to give a shit. Whereas Joe Biden may be saying the truth, may be coming from a good place, but he's so busy tripping over his ums and ers, he can't form a complete sentence. Now, unfortunately, we have run out of time, and I will not be able to get into my personal political beliefs. And I promise next week we will dive into it. And don't see this as one of Donald Trump's empty promises. See it more as, I'm Joe Biden and my opinions are young children. Don't worry, I'm gonna touch them.